Hall Triathlon 2023. Today we're going to be breaking down the Olympic triathlon for everybody. This is, and I'll bounce back and forth here. So going from the main page over here, the Rock Hall uh, Triathlon here, you scroll down here, you have the Olympic and the sprint. You can see some of these course maps mixed in here, which we will talk about. Details, race policies, directions, guide, participant list, and the facts. Guides is pretty standard. They have reshaped all of their races this year to eliminate dates and just have a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday breakdown of it, which we will be talking about here. Things don't really change a whole lot over here, so if they do, make sure you check out their Facebook page. They're usually pretty active and pretty good about posting new things leading up to the race. They will also email you, most likely. Don't quote me on that, but they will usually do that. So schedule of events for the Olympic. Friday afternoon, you do have the ability to pick up your packet from 5 to 7 p.m. at the race site. At the race site, there's also a 7 p.m. pre-race meeting. You do not have to attend this if you are not available to get there in time. They might do a Facebook online meet that's usually pretty good. I don't know if that's the case this year. We're still a little bit early on in the season here. Saturday, the Olympic distance race day arrival. They tell you to arrive no later than 7 a.m. because the transition opens at 6. Packet pickup is from 6 to 7:30, and at 7:40, that's when athletes start to make their way to the race start, which is about a quarter mile away. Pro tip for this race, make sure you bring throwaway sandals or shoes or anything else, just because walking over there in barefoot can be a little bit uncomfortable on race morning. 7:45 transition area closes with no exceptions. Pre-race briefing happens at the start, and this is a picture of that right through here. This is not the transition area. This is the race start location, which is on a dock over here. At 8 o'clock a.m. on the dot, the race will start in a time trial start. They give you directions to that right through here. Sprint distance we don't need to talk about, but here, this is the race site over here. Parking happens right through here. It is a grass field, and you can see that after you do set everything up, we do have the swim start, which happens right over here. So you will have to walk over here on the road, back over here, and back through there. Sometimes you can cut through here, but that's ill-advised because there's glass and everything mixed in through here. So if you are running late, you might have to take that option, but I don't recommend it at all. Okay. And again, grass field in between West Sharp and Chesapeake Avenue. It's right through here. This is where the parking for the thing is. They also tell you that there's parking at the school, which is right through here, although I've never seen anyone actually do that. So just be aware of that. Swim finishes out through here, and we'll talk about specific swim info later. Packet pickup, bring your photo ID and your questions, which we will also try to help you address through this point in time. Special notes about it. Each bib number is assigned with a timing chip, and they are distributed at packet pickup. Please do not lose either of those two things. Okay? And that's pretty much it. If you want to change your category, talk to them on the packet pickup area. Page 6 says 10 things to know about the race day, which you can read on your own. Course cutoff times on page 7. Transition area is on page 8. All bikes must be racked in transition completed 15 minutes before the start of the first swimmer. All right. Race numbers, you can see on page 9. This is where they need to be posted. This is the run, bike, and bike. You can see it's on the top tube, the helmet. Also, the timing chip is located on the left ankle. If you lose it, it's $50. Body marking. You do have to get body marked on race morning. They will be body marking people out there for you, so it's just going to be one of the steps you have to go through. Okay. Aid stations on the bike, there are none. On the run, there are approximately every 1 to 1.5 miles on the run. And results will be posted using the following link. They're also going to have a scroll down for you on race day, which is pretty cool. One of my favorite things about them is they post the results live in the results tent, and you can head on over there as soon as you want to. They will usually post it very quickly. Penalties, make sure you check out the USAT penalties on page 11. There's a link for you to check those. And you can also read the most commonly violated rules. Again, use these links. They are very good links, also very good for you to know. Wetsuit rules, Connect Multisports. 78 degrees and below, wetsuits are allowed. 78 to 83 degrees, participants may wear a wetsuit, but they forego the awards. 84 and above, no wetsuit is allowed. All right, water temperature is going to be posted on the Facebook/Instagram page. I did not know they had an Instagram page. 48 hours before the race start. All right. And again, that is something that they're pretty good about. So just keep an eye out that, especially on their Facebook page. All right, so this is the swim course. This is on page 15. It is, the map is posted, and which we will dive into that later. It is a 1.75 loop swim course, which means you don't fully complete that second lap. Okay, so now let's go back up and let's go dive into our swim. Okay. That is the typical water temperatures that have been posted. Swim course doesn't have a specific one, so we're going to access all three here. This is our swim start. There's going to be a timing mat that you're going to jump off the dock for. Once you cross that timing chip or that timing mat, then your race has officially started. This is going to be the first section right through here. Watch out for a couple of rogue poles that might be left out through here. Don't swim into those. Also, there are a chance of jellyfish to happen at this race. It is what it is. You just got to get through it. Okay. From this point, this start to this turn right here, for whatever reason, this is a very high intensity section of the swim, no matter if it's time trial or a group start. This year it's time trial start, but I would also envision this to be a high speed start. Once you make this first left-hand turn, things do start to calm down a little bit, but the effort level is still going to be high through this point in time. Once you make this third turn, very, very common for athletes to have trouble sighting all the way to where they need to go. You will probably only be able to see one, maybe two sighting buoys ahead of you. And there's also usually a wiggly man on the dock or something to help athletes to know where the swim exit is. Okay. Sight to the furthest thing you can see on that first loop. Remember, you do have to turn left again, and you are going to experience some shallow waters through here. Almost every year, athletes can touch the bottom through this point in time. Doesn't always happen, and it isn't always in the same location, but somewhere around here, there is a sandbar that does get a little shallow through here. So just be aware of that, and don't get very freaked out if you are able to touch the bottom all of a sudden. It is very common. Making this second hand turn, again, for whatever reason, this is a very high effort level section of our course through here. Don't get sucked into the excessive battles on the first or the second loop. Swim your race through this point in time. Once you get through this second section, again, you're going on this for the second time. This is going to be where you might be catching people that are a little bit slower if you are a faster swimmer. If you're in mid-pack and you don't have to worry about this, this is going to be where the race kind of bunches up for you and people are all around you. Use them to your advantage and help pull you along, especially on this last section into our swim finish through here. Very, very common for athletes to fight one another all the way to this swim finish, and I never understand why. If they really want to swim in front of you, let them swim in front of you and pull you all the way through. If they're a little bit slower, that's a different story, but, make sure they are pulling you along if they are slightly faster than you. If they are slower, then go around and focus on the furthest thing you can see. You might have to do a little jut out at the end to get on this dock, and it is a good little run from the dock to the transition area. Be aware that it's not going to happen in a second to get out of the water and onto the bike. And when you are there, do not sprint and try to get to there as fast as possible. Use the dock as a point where you can kind of recover and get your bearings, because the bike is coming up and it is a fast one, but it is also a very challenging one. So this is our course right through here, and you can see we have a 300 feet elevation gain bike course, which on itself you'll scoff at and just say this is nothing, I don't need to worry about that, and not so fast. This first little section right through here, and I will zoom in for you. This first section out on the course, this little zigzag, this corner right through here, this right-hand turn, almost every year someone crashes on it because it is so tight. The speed is very fast. Again, You're at 11 feet for a long time for the first 4 miles. The elevation doesn't really go up. So you are able to go very fast leading up to this corner, and just be very careful taking a right-hand turn right through here. Again, this left-hand turn, there will be an officer or someone in the intersection allowing you to go through. You do have the right of way if an officer or someone is there. But again, just be aware of rogue people in their vehicles. You don't want to think you have the right of way and then get hit by something. So just make sure everyone is letting you go before you fly through that intersection on race day. Watch the tight turn, watch the other cars right through there, and then it calms down before we get out onto the main portion of the course. And for the first little while, this first section, you will have athletes totally drilling it right through here. Drilling it. Be careful. Do not do that. Easy to get sucked in. You know, you might not have the swim you wanted to. It isn't, let's call it an ocean swim, a bay swim. And it's not uncommon for athletes to try and make it up in this first mile and a half, 2 miles right through here. Do not do that unless you are really, really off your mark. Because a couple things happen out through here. Chances are you will be shielded from the wind initially, but once you start to get out of town, probably about right here, it does open up for you and you are open to the elements. Which means if there is any sort of wind, you're probably going to have a cross or headwind, and we'll talk about the specifics of that in a second. But you will be actively battling more than yourself during this section here. You will also be, because everyone's going to be going fast here because there's no elevation gain, right? So at the point at which you're expending all of that effort, so is, the person that's conserving themselves might be going a mile an hour slower than you at this point in time. So weighing the pros and cons is this the best opportunity for me to bridge the gap to where I need to be? If you are chasing a group, probably that's true, right? But if it's just you out there and you're just going hard to go hard, you're not going to catch anybody or any big groups up there, then I would always ask the question, why? Why are you doing that? Because as you start to make this right-hand turn, almost always you will go into a direct headwind, and then you will make this left-hand turn right through here, and it is windy during this section. It swirls. It's not always a great place to really, really crush it. Okay, and then from a tactical standpoint, it really does calm down a little bit. You do have some elevation gain right through here, but for these first 10 miles, you really are just driving your pace here, okay? And it's very easy to get sucked into other people's thinkings and allow them to kind of blow you up. All right, so if an athlete is, let's call it a quarter mile in front of you and they know it, right, they're going to try to stay in front of you a little bit longer. You're going to try to really, really push the pace, and by the time you catch up to them, they might be just coasting, and you've done all that work. So if you are in that lead echelon, make sure you are aware of what's happening on race day and don't get suckered into catching someone that you shouldn't, okay? Not to say that you should coast during this section, but don't overdo it either. So going back to this best bike split, this is an example of one, and you can see for these first 10 miles, the watts are pretty flat. So this athlete's going to target 160, let's call it, and that pretty much happens and exists until mile 8 when we make that right-hand turn right through here at this point in time. And then things kind of turn up a little bit. And it's not a lot, right? But it's enough to kind of make us sit back and notice. A lot of these hills are 2%ers mixed in through here, and you can see right through here we have our only 4% mixed in through this section here. And that's going to end very quickly, though. That is a right-hand turn that is very, very common for athletes to overcook. It comes, as you can see, at the bottom of a downhill, and then you make a right-hand turn, and it looks like it's a massive hill, but in reality it's not. Okay, you're going to get up it, and then it cools down a little bit, and then you're going to make another right-hand little turn right through here, and then this whole section is kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. But once you make this right-hand turn onto this main road, you almost always have a tailwind that pushes you and really throws you back into town. You will experience the highest speed right through this section, right through here. This is typically because of that tailwind that happens right through here. So don't be Don't be surprised when your top speed drops right through this section right here, right at 20 miles. This is another sucker's area. The first one happens right through here, and this second one happens right through here. You come off this massive speed burst right through here. You come down this downhill section, and you are flying. It's going to be great. But what people don't realize is, say you're going 30 miles an hour, when you back down to 20 miles an hour, you're going to have this false sense in your head right through here that says, I need to be going that 30 miles an hour now. And this is where a lot of athletes really overcook themselves on this course, is these, and it's not long, it's 3-4 miles right through here. But by the time you have to get back into town right through here, typically by the time you're passing Larry's Hardware, that is going to be the point in time where you think, oh man, that was a tough bike course. And it really wasn't. It really wasn't. You just overdid it for those first 8 miles or these last 3-4 miles right through here. Once you take a left through here, this is another dangerous section of the course, just because from a spectator's point of view or other people that are bouncing around town, once you make this left-hand turn, you start to get into residential areas right through here. If there's no one at this intersection, be careful blowing through it. Make sure that it is safe to do so before you do. All right. This section right through here has seen a couple of accidents throughout the years, and it's no surprise that it happens at the very end of the bike, and also that it's the area where we start to introduce some residential to the mix. Again, another common error is for athletes to get through this intersection and totally drill it all the way back in. Again, remember, we have no elevation gain or loss right through this point in time. So you can have a high rate of speed with very little effort here. And also, in these last little sections right through here, weigh the pros and cons. Is it really worth going 25 miles an hour and getting all that effort to get up there? Because by the time you do, you're going to have to slow down anyways. I'd rather you just hit it at, 16, 20 miles an hour instead of that 25 and save a lot of effort while still going pretty quick. At that point in time, make sure that you are aware that the transition is going to happen a lot faster than you think. And that's the bike course in a nutshell. Okay, the run. This is the transition area that we talked about earlier. You're going to go in there. You're going to exit the way you came in from the swim. You're going to go out through here, hang a left-hand turn, and be aware that this is a 2-loop course. You're going to go back through here, do this out and back section, and then you're going to go again. Very common for athletes to either skip the second lap or to skip this out and back section on the first or the second loop. Please make sure you do all of that. On the way out for this first mile, which happens right through here before you get to this out and back section, this is going to be the area where athletes really open themselves up to failure on this run course. Do not explode this first mile. Establish your legs, establish your run, see what's going on with your nutrition, hydration, all that stuff. You should be thinking about that for the last 2 miles on the bike anyways. But if you just messed up and missed that, then this is your opportunity to think about that on the run. First mile, you need to be going through your checklist, walking through in your mind and seeing what's going on. Watch your running form here. Very common for athletes to run like someone else, especially once they get to this area back through here. This is residential, so you are going to start to have some people popping out of their houses throughout this point in time. Once you do get this out and back, then it becomes happier days. This mile 2 to mile 3, which happens right through here. Not the most challenging of courses right through here. It's a very straight shot. You're not going to be shielded a ton from the elements, so if it's sunny, you're going to be experiencing the full brunt of the sun through there. Second loop, things change a bit. Okay, still have the training wheels on a little bit for this section over here, but once you start to get to this out and back section, at the start of this is kind of the last go time. So out, back, and then pretty much to this corner right through here, that is a speed section on this second loop. Make sure you are ready for it because other people will be, and if you are around them, that's going to be the point in time where they let it fly. So be ready to rock and roll at that point there, because if you are not, you're going to be left behind. Okay, watch your nutrition. Use the first half a mile to get your nutrition back set up correctly. Or if you are firing on all cylinders, then, let's find that race pace as soon as we can and have a great day out there. So that is the Rock Hall Triathlon at a grand overview, right? If you're an athlete, we'll talk about more specifics later on. But if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. And good luck to everyone racing this year, the 2023 Rock Hall Tri Course.